Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. For today's video I'm going to talk you through how I drew this realistic horse's eye using coloured pencils. I start with my outline, which is lightly sketched out using a B graphite pencil. I make sure to keep my sketches light so they can be easily erased and won't show through the finished portrait. Once I have my sketch as accurate as possible, I use a sharp dark sepia Polychromos pencil to add in all the dark areas and the outlines of the eye. I start out lightly first and then gradually add pressure where I need it to be darkest. I then use a warm grey pencil to start shading in some of the lighter areas of the skin around the eye. I now use a warm grey 1 and 2 as base layers for the eye. I build up the layers with various greys, working from light to dark using light pressure. If I use too much pressure too soon, I will flatten the tooth of the paper, which will then prevent me from adding additional layers on top. I now go on to define the pupil of the eye. I focus on getting the contrast of the highlight using a dark sepia and black pencil. I find getting the highlight right in the eye is key to that glassy look. I then define the outside of the eye a little more by darkening the outline using a harder pressure with my dark sepia and black pencil. I'm really trying to create that dark contrast. I now go back to the eye and start adding in some midtones and some colour. I blend out the dark part of the eye into the centre. To subtly add some colour to the eye, I use my Nugget Polychromos pencil. I make sure to keep a sharp line contrast between the highlight and the pupil of the eye. I make sure my pencils are very sharp for this. I continue to darken the eye and blend the pupil outwards, getting lighter towards the bottom. This really helps to give dimension and a spherical look to the eye. When working on eyes, I want to create a smooth and glassy texture. To do this, I keep my pencil strokes very small and work in circular motions, so I can blend out all the colours together smoothly. I now start to add in some of the skin around the eye, so I can get a better judgment of my values. I find this helps to see if I need to go darker. I always start out much lighter than needed, as it is easier to go darker but much trickier to lighten once you've gone too dark. I now use some flesh tones to add in a small area of pink in the corner of the eye. I then tone it down using some warm greys so the pink isn't too vibrant. To give this eye a realistic look, I make sure to pay attention where the shadows and reflections are. You tend to get a lot of different shapes going on in the eyes. The highlights tend to follow the shape of the eye, which is important to follow as it really helps towards that glassy spherical look that we really want to capture. I make sure to keep my pencils really sharp to add in the small details, especially when I'm working on areas such as the waterline of the eye, which requires a very thin and sharp line. I've now gone back to working on the skin around the horse's eye. This skin has a very smooth texture, so again I like to work in very small pencil strokes, keeping them close together and in circular motions so we can really get that smooth look. I start by using my lighter colours and work my way through my midtones and up to my darks. I've used a range of warm greys, ivory, burnt ochre and bistre for the lighter skin under the eye. As this horse has chestnut tones, there are subtle hints of oranges, yellows and pinks in her coat. I now go in to add the eyelashes of the horse. To create these eyelashes, I don't draw every individual lash, but more create the impression of them. I blend them outwards from the eyelid and work in shapes rather than individual hairs. For these eyelashes, I have used a burnt ochre on top of a layer of ivory, which are both Polychromos pencils. I don't focus on adding too much detail to these. I just add in little flicks at the end to give the impression of eyelashes. I then continue onto the skin around the top of the eye and start darkening to add contrast and shadow. Now that I have darkened the eye, I can see that my highlights are too bright, so I now go in with some cold greys to push them back a little. As you can see, I tend to go back and forth on my work. I go back to certain areas that I feel need a little more defining or darkening. This is because once I've added to other areas, it makes it clearer for me to judge my values. I now go on to work on the bright highlight of the eye and decide it needs some colour and detail added in. I use a coal grey as a base layer and then add in a few strokes for shadows of the eyelashes. I then blend them out into the highlight using my coal grey pencil again. I now continue to darken areas again before moving on to more of the skin around the eye. As always, I use my lighter colours first as base layers and work my way through my midtones and up to my darks. There is a lot of warm light reflecting on this mare's photo, and to capture that light I've used ivory and cream colours as base layers in those areas and kept them light and vibrant. I continue to work my way outwards, building up my layers as I go. I focus on the direction of the fur around the eye, the different creases and where the shadows and highlights are. I will explain how I created the texture of the fur in my next video. So that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you've been able to learn a little from me too. I'd love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, so if you just search Art by Rhia, come and find me and give me a follow. I also have my own art sharing group, which is linked in the description below, where you are welcome to come and share your own artwork with me and other artists in the group too. So that is all from me today. Thank you for watching. Bye!